we're okay. So if you go down to the little wrenches tab, you can see that there's a the mirror modifier. You can click on that. So now this mirror modifier is applied to the cube, but you don't see anything happening because currently the cube is reflecting across its own origin, which is that little orange dot in the center. So since it's reflecting across itself, nothing's gonna happen. So what we'll have to do is to change the line or object which the cube is mirrored across from. And the way we do that is under the mirror object, you can use the picker and select the center cube. And that way you can see that the cube is now on both sides of the character. So this basically saves a lot of work when you're modeling. You can pretty much cut the amount of time and effort you spend in half, and all you have to do is just to mirror it across the plane. And to make the arm of the character, we can scale this down in the Y direction, scale it in the X direction, and then move it up next to the character. Just like that. And then if you guys want to make it a little more detailed, you can go ahead to go to the edit mode. That allows you to move the individual vertices and edges. So what we can do is go to the edge mode. You can go ahead and move this edge, GZ, move it down a little bit. And then you can also go ahead, go to the face mode, select this face. You can scale that up a little bit, move it out to the X direction to make it more like a human arm or more stylized arm. Another tool that we're gonna learn today is called the extrude tool. I don't know if I went over that. But basically extrude tool allows you to add extra meshes onto the pre-existing mesh to make more complicated shapes. The shortcut for extrude is E. Just let me demonstrate what's going to happen here. If I press E, you can see that a separate part of the mesh has been created, and we can move that part around. Let me undo that. So what we can do to make the hand is we can extrude this mesh E. We can scale it down like that, and then left click to make it settle in place. We can select the small square again and then press E again. And now we have a little hand for the character. You can go ahead and exit out of edit mode. And the next part for us is going to be creating the legs for the character. And what we can do is add another cube, move it to one side, and do the same process with the mirror modifier. Go to the modifier tab, select the mirror modifier, and switch the mirror object to the center cube. And it's the same process for creating the arms. You can scale it in the X direction, scale it in the Y direction, and then move it so that it's underneath the character. Oops. Like that. Let me just move this closer. Do you guys have any other questions at the moment? Okay. So for the leg, we can go through the same process we did for the arm to make it look a little bit more realistic or stylish. We can go into edit mode. So other than the extrude, there's another tool that I think is really useful. It's called the loop cut. This tool over here, it basically allows you to add a loop around the entire mesh. So basically, if you see when I go into vertex mode, there's now multiple edges and multiple vertices that have created along the lines of the mesh. So this can be really useful if you're like, if you want to add something extra to the mesh, which in this case is the leg. So what we can do is go ahead and add a loop cut here. Oops. And then we can scale that as well as the face on the bottom here up to make the feet a little bit bigger. Scale it up like that. And then we can use a loop cut again, loop cut tool, drag it down here to make the feet. Let's go into face mode. We can select one edge of the feet, press E to extrude, and make the feet for the character. There we go. So now we have the basic character blocked out, the character's body, legs, and arms. We can work on the facial details a little bit. If you guys have any questions or if I'm going too fast, just speak up and let me know. For the eyes and the mouth, you can use the simple cube again. Add cube. There's an easier way to create objects. It's with the shortcut Shift A. It brings you to the add objects menu, and you can select mesh cube the same way. It's the same function as if you go to the menu on the top left. But after we create the cube, we can mirror it across again, because your eyes are symmetrical to both sides of your faces. We can bring it to the front, scale it down a little bit, bring it to the front of the character. To make it more stylish, you can scale the eyes up in the Z direction and then scale it in the Y direction so it's a little bit more flat and realistic. And the next step we can do to make it look just a little better is we can duplicate this. You can go object, duplicate object. That allows you to duplicate the objects you have selected. You can also go Shift D. That allows you to duplicate the same way. Anyways, so we have duplicated the eyes. Let's scale it down just a little more. Move it up like this. Okay, that. Let's move the eyeballs here. Okay. So now we have the eyes. Let's work on the mouth. So we can create a cube. Let's move it out in the right direction over here. Go ahead and scale it down. Let's move it in the stretch it in the X direction like this. Scale S and X. Let's go into edit mode. We can create 2 loop cuts. Hold on, 2 loop cuts. The control for loop cut is Control R, and if you click and drag it along the edge, it's just an easier way to create loop cuts and place them wherever you like. So Control R to create loop cut along this edge. Let's create 2 of them on the 2 different edges. And then let's go into face mode, select the 2 end faces, and then extrude them up to create a simple smiley face. Let's move the face back to the character like that. Now this is the simple character. If you guys want to be a little bit more creative with this, you can do what I did, which is adding a hat to this little guy. I also used the edit mode and manipulated the ear, manipulated the cube, mirrored it, and made a little ear on the side. But for now, I can show you guys how I made the little hat on the top. So what I did was Shift A, I added another cube, scaled the cube up, and scaled it down in the Z direction to make it flat. Ooh, that's a bit too big. Let's make it like that. Okay, move it on top of his head. You can go to edit mode, and then we can use the extrude tool that we learned today. Select the top face, E for extrude, and scale it down. Now to create the top part of the hat, we can just use the extrude tool once more. Select E, extrude, and now we have a hat for the character. You can go ahead and scale this down for more of like a straw hat, or keep it this big to make it look more like a magician's hat. It's up to you. You can go ahead and get out of edit mode, but there is our simple character. So now we're done modeling it. How's it going with Timothy, Onijit, and Keen?
I think that went a little bit too fast, so I'm still trying to catch up.
No worries. Do you guys have any questions?
Not really.
I'm kind of struggling with getting it to extrude.
Okay. Let me see. Do you mind sharing screen if you can, so I can see what's the problem?
I don't have Zoom on my computer.
Oh, okay. So what exactly is happening at the moment?
I just don't understand how to extrude something.
Okay. I can show that again. Let me just add a cube. So to extrude something, the first step is that you have to go to the edit mode. And once you're in edit mode, you can select any of the faces or edges or vertices that you want to extrude. Most of the time, you're mainly going to be extruding faces because that's the easiest and simplest way. If you want to extrude, say, the top face, what you can do is select the top face, and then the shortcut for extrude is E on the keyboard. You can press E, and that allows you to extrude. So after you press E, if you want to scale it down, don't left click on the mouse. Just press the S key for scale, and that allows you to scale the face down. So scale, and that allows you to move the face smaller.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Oh yeah, also, I don't remember if I mentioned this last time in the video, but if you want to delete something, Blender's kind of weird. You can't delete objects with a delete key. You have to press the key X. And if you press X, it'll give you an option to delete it. On the other hand, you can also right click and delete. And that's how you delete stuff. Blender shortcut's kind of weird since delete key doesn't actually delete them. So it just takes a little bit of time to get used to that. Do you guys have any other questions? Or is there anything I can help out on?
Not really. I think I just have to watch the recording again.
That's fine. I realized I wasn't sharing screen for like the extrude part of the explanation. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's fine. Wait, how do you delete again?
To delete an object, you can select on the object you want to delete and press X.
Okay.
X, and it'll give you a pop-up to make sure you want to delete it. You can just press
Okay.
delete. Cool. Do you guys have any other questions or concerns?
I don't think so.
I guess not really.
Okay, that's cool. So today we modeled this simple character. You guys can go ahead and add whatever you guys think or whatever you guys want to the character. Um, use your creativity. Make it like a soldier, like I did, or a magician with a big top hat, or just give it some spark. And then the next time we meet, I'll show you guys how to texture color this thing, as well as render out a picture. So you can actually render out and save it to your phone, share it on Instagram, social media, whatever, and impress your friends. If you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to Discord me over the week, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Was this a little bit too fast for today?
Maybe a tiny bit, but it was not bad.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind next time.
Yeah.
The recording will be posted very soon. And if you guys don't know what keys to press, on the bottom left hand corner here on the
Mhm.
recording, there should be a mirror of every key that I'm pressing. So if I use
Yeah.
middle mouse, it can show up here. But if there's no other questions or concerns, I guess thank you guys all for coming today.
Right, thanks. See ya.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We actually, I had one question. The Discord link for the original email, I don't think I think it expired. Can you send like a new one or something maybe?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Um invite people, there we go. Is it fine if I put in the chat?
Yes.
Try that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Bye.